But what Deion posted right after that is what made people believe this whole $175 million deal might actually be real.
So YouTube family, we got yet a situation again that has occurred. So if you guys don't know, let me drop the banner for you right quick. Coach Prime, aka Deion Sanders, Coach Deion Sanders, that is prime time. So they said Deion Sanders finally talked about Shedeur's $4.6 million contract with the Browns. And boy, did he tell y'all his feelings. He makes sense. He went off in only a way Deion Sanders can go off. Now,
when I hear a lot of pundits speak about your situation in particular, Prime ain't did nothing different than what any other great father would do.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
No, I understand.
When I came out, they tried to shun my father from a lot. There's award shows that I have yet to be back because my father was not able to kind of come.
Yeah, I mean, that's just a part of it, though. You got to understand the situation. You got to understand.
Deion Sanders just posted the most emotional celebration video you've ever seen after Shedeur officially signed his groundbreaking contract with the Europe Football League. And Coach Prime's reaction is telling us everything we need to know about why this move is absolutely genius. We're talking about a father watching his son secure not just a massive payday, but complete control over his career, equity ownership, and a growing international league in a platform that the NFL simply couldn't match right now. This isn't just about football anymore. This is about legacy, business, in a family that refuses to play by rules that were designed to limit their success. And what I'm about to show you is going to prove exactly why the NFL is absolutely panicking, while the Sanders family is celebrating like they just won the biggest victory of their lives.
Touchdowns, y'all. Shedeur Sanders surprisingly slipped to the 5th round, becoming the number 144th pick in the 5th round of the 2025 NFL Draft. First of all, let me clarify this article a little bit. We like our journalists here, but we call them out when they don't say the truth. First of all, nobody was shocked, because if you're one of our subscribers, and shout out to the new subscribers we have here. We got droves and droves of new subscribers. Salute to y'all. I'm honored to have y'all.
Let me paint you a picture of how this celebration went down. Because Deion didn't just post a casual congratulations on social media. This was a full-blown, emotional, proud father moment that had the entire sports world watching and reacting in real time. Coach Prime dropped a video on Instagram and Twitter simultaneously. The caption was simple but powerful. They said it couldn't be done. My son just changed the game forever. Europe, you got a reel on. Hashtag new era, hashtag Sanders legacy. In the video, you can see Deion in his home office wearing a custom European Football League jersey with Sanders and Shedeur's number on the back. His eyes are glossy, you can tell he's fighting back emotion, and he's speaking directly to the camera with that signature Coach Prime intensity that we all know and love. Listen, he says, pointing at the camera, people been doubting this kid his whole life, said he only got opportunities because of me, said he wasn't tough enough, said he couldn't handle the pressure, said he'd never make it. And what did he do? He didn't just make it, he changed the entire game. My son just secured the biggest, smartest, most forward-thinking deal in football history. Not just American football, football. And I couldn't be prouder. The video cuts to clips of Shedeur's journey, high school highlights, Jackson State dominance, Colorado moments, Pro Bowl selection, and finally footage of him signing the European contract with league executives standing around applauding. And throughout it all, you can hear Deion narrating, his voice cracking slightly with emotion. This is what happens when you bet on yourself, Deion continues. This is what happens when you refuse to accept less than you're worth. This is what happens when you understand that the game is bigger than what they told you it could be. The video ends with Deion raising a glass toward the camera. To my son, to new beginnings, to changing the game. Europe, take care of my boy. He's about to show you what greatness looks like. Within hours, that video had millions of views. Comments were flooding in from current NFL players, retired legends, coaches, analysts, celebrities, and fans from around the world. Some were congratulating Shedeur and supporting the move. Others were criticizing it, saying he's running from real competition. But regardless of which side people fell on, everybody was talking about it. And that's exactly what the Sanders family wanted. Now, before we go any further, let's talk about why Deion is celebrating this hard. Because to understand his reaction, you have to understand what this deal represents, not just for Shedeur, but for the entire philosophy that Deion has been preaching for years about athlete empowerment, business savvy, and refusing to be controlled by systems that don't have your best interests at heart.
That's when I respect my dad, because we grew up in a big house, nice, like 25,000 square feet. Yeah, like something very big. Football field, everything you could ask for.
He got his own money.
Arcade, everything, basketball court, everything.
Yeah.
But then he moved us across town. Still a nice house, but it wasn't like that. It was nothing like that. But he moved us across town to understand, just a humbling experience overall. Just to understand, to get that dog mentality. We didn't go to private schools our whole life. We went to charter school.
Deion Sanders played both NFL and MLB simultaneously. He made over $60 million in his playing career, but more importantly, he built a brand that transcended sports. He understood early that athletes are more than just performers, they're businesses, and he's been teaching that mentality to his sons from day one. When Shedeur was navigating his Cleveland situation, dealing with coaching dysfunction, media sabotage, organizational chaos, Deion was watching closely. He saw how the traditional NFL system treats young quarterbacks. He saw how quickly teams can turn on players when it's convenient. He saw how little control players actually have over their careers, their brands, and their futures. And he started exploring alternatives. The Europe Football League opportunity didn't come out of nowhere. According to sources close to the Sanders family, Deion had been in conversations with European League executives for over a year. He was doing his homework, understanding the market, evaluating the financial structures, and determining whether this could genuinely be a better situation for his son than staying in the NFL grind. And when the final offer came through, $150 million fully guaranteed, 2% equity ownership, complete brand control, and the option to return to the NFL after 2 years with no penalties, Deion knew this was the move. This wasn't just a contract, this was a statement. This was proof that the NFL doesn't have a monopoly on elite football talent anymore. And watching his son sign that deal, knowing everything they'd been through together to get to this moment, that's why Deion's celebration was so emotional and so powerful. But here's where things get really interesting. Deion's celebration isn't just about being a proud dad, it's strategic. Because Deion understands media, he understands narrative, and he understands that his public support and excitement for this move legitimizes it in ways that nothing else could. When Coach Prime, one of the most respected voices in football, comes out celebrating this European deal, it sends a message to every young athlete watching that this is a viable, respectable, smart path. It's not a cop-out, it's not running away, it's evolution. And that message is incredibly powerful because it opens doors for other players who might be considering similar moves, but were worried about how it would be perceived. Think about the young quarterbacks in college right now who are watching Shedeur's situation unfold. They're seeing that you don't have to accept whatever the NFL offers you. They're seeing that international leagues are serious competitors with serious money and serious opportunities. They're seeing that someone with Deion Sanders' credibility is fully endorsing this path. That changes everything about how the next generation of athletes approaches their careers. The NFL is watching all of this, and they are not happy. Because every time Deion posts another celebration video, every time he does another interview talking about how proud he is of Shedeur's decision, every time he publicly validates the European Football League as a legitimate alternative to the NFL, it undermines the league's leverage in future negotiations with elite players.
They said Deion tagged the post with a simple caption, Shedeur, proud father, I love my kids and I push my kids to be greater, to be better, to correct my wrongs and magnify my rights. Don't negate that part, y'all. He made sure to say to magnify my rights. My kids are built for whatever comes their way. We're prepared for whatever because I got them no matter what. Thank you, Jesus. Bro, that is beautiful, bro.
Now, let's talk about the actual celebration event that happened after the contract was signed. Because this wasn't just a video on social media. The Sanders family threw a private event at their home in Colorado, and some of the details that have leaked out are absolutely incredible. According to people who were there, Deion had the entire house decorated with European Football League branding mixed with Sanders family memorabilia. There were custom jerseys for everyone in attendance. There was a highlight reel playing on loop showing Shedeur's best moments from high school through his Pro Bowl season. And there was a moment during the evening where Deion gave a speech that reportedly had multiple people in the room tearing up. In that speech, Deion talked about watching Shedeur grow up in the spotlight, dealing with pressure that most kids never have to face, hearing constant comparisons to his father, being told he'd never be his own man. And he talked about how proud he is that Shedeur not only survived all of that, but used it as fuel to become someone who's now literally changing how professional football works. "My son didn't just sign a contract tonight," Deion reportedly said. "He opened a door that's been locked for decades, and every athlete who walks through that door after him is going to remember that Shedeur Sanders was the one who kicked it open." The party included current and former players, coaches, business executives, and family friends. And the overwhelming vibe, according to everyone who was there, was celebration mixed with vindication. Because for years, people had been questioning Shedeur's abilities, his toughness, his decision-making. And now he's got the biggest contract in international football history with terms that NFL teams couldn't match even if they wanted to. But, of course, not everyone is celebrating. The haters are out in full force, and we need to address what they're saying because some of these takes are absolutely wild. The most common criticism is that Shedeur is running from NFL competition and that Deion is enabling him to take the easy route instead of proving himself against the best. And honestly, that take is so lazy and so disconnected from reality that it's almost not worth addressing. But since people keep saying it, let's break it down real quick. Shedeur already proved himself in the NFL. Pro Bowl as a rookie, massive yardage, clutch performances, elite decision-making under pressure. He did all of that while dealing with organizational dysfunction that would have broken most players. So this idea that he hasn't proven anything is just factually wrong. Second, saying the European Football League is easier competition shows that people haven't been paying attention to international football in at least 5 years. The talent level has increased dramatically. Former NFL starters, Pro Bowlers, and elite college prospects are going overseas because the money and opportunities are legitimate. This isn't arena football. This is a serious, well-funded, growing league with legitimate competition. Third, and most importantly, this criticism completely misses the point of what Shedeur is doing. It's not about finding easier competition, it's about maximizing value, building generational wealth, and taking control of his career in ways that the NFL structure doesn't allow. Why is that something to criticize? When did making smart business decisions become a negative thing for athletes?
But okay, let's pretend that's the case. We don't have fathers. But when we do have fathers, we still get scrutinized in front of the world. Oh, Deion is hands-on too much. But if it's Archie Manning, it's love. It's an American story that needs to be told. I just did a story about Todd Dodge and Riley Dodge, father and son, who was an American story from South Lake Carroll, Texas, how he got a job to be the head coach of North Texas University. He got no coaching experience besides.
The reality is, people are uncomfortable with athletes having this much power and agency over their careers. They're used to the NFL controlling everything, and when a player like Shedeur, with the backing and strategic guidance of someone like Deion, decides to operate outside that system, it makes people defensive. But that's a them problem, not a Shedeur problem. Deion addressed some of this criticism directly in a follow-up post, and his response was perfect. He said, "They call it running when you take control of your career. They call it scared when you choose guaranteed money over gambling on a system that doesn't guarantee anything. They call it easy when you build generational wealth and equity ownership instead of just collecting a paycheck. Call it whatever you want. My son is winning, and the numbers don't lie." That's the kind of response that shuts down nonsense immediately, because at the end of the day, Shedeur's got $150 million guaranteed, equity in a growing international league, complete control over his brand, and the option to return to the NFL on his terms if he chooses. What exactly about that situation sounds like a bad decision? Now let's talk about what this means for the Sanders family legacy, because this is bigger than just one contract. Deion has always been about building something that lasts beyond his playing career. He's coaching, he's mentoring young athletes, he's building a brand that influences how the next generation thinks about sports, business, and life. And Shedeur's European deal is a massive piece of that legacy. Think about what the Sanders name represents now: innovation, empowerment, refusing to accept limitations, building wealth and opportunity on your own terms. That's the brand, and every move Deion and his sons make reinforces that brand. Shedeur going to Europe isn't a detour, it's a continuation of everything Deion has been building and teaching for decades. And here's the beautiful part: it's working. The Sanders brand is stronger than ever. Deion's coaching career is thriving. Shedeur's got the biggest contract in international football, and they're doing it all while challenging systems, breaking down barriers, and opening doors for the athletes who come after them. That's legacy. That's impact. That's exactly what Deion is celebrating. The response from the football community has been fascinating to watch. Current NFL players are publicly congratulating Shedeur, while privately many of them are reaching out to their agents, asking about international opportunities. Coaches are talking about how this changes recruitment strategies. General managers are realizing they can't just assume elite prospects will automatically choose the NFL anymore. The entire landscape is shifting, and Deion's celebration is the exclamation point on that shift. So here's where we land on all of this. Deion Sanders is celebrating because his son just pulled off one of the smartest, most impactful career moves in modern sports history. Shedeur secured generational wealth, equity ownership, complete brand control, and a platform that elevates him to global athlete status. The critics can say whatever they want, but the numbers, the structure, and the long-term implications of this deal prove that the Sanders family made the right call. And Deion's emotional, powerful celebration is a perfect reflection of a father watching his son not just succeed, but change the entire game in the process. So I need to hear from you right now. Is Deion right to celebrate this hard, or is he enabling his son to avoid real NFL competition? Do you think more elite players are going to follow Shedeur's path to international leagues? And honestly, would you rather have $150 million guaranteed with equity ownership in Europe, or take your chances in the NFL system with all its uncertainty and control? Drop your thoughts in the comments, because this conversation is shaping the future of professional football. And if you're not subscribed yet, hit that button immediately, because we're covering every single moment of Shedeur's European journey and the fallout across the NFL. This story is just beginning, and you absolutely don't want to miss what happens next.